Nasıl? Ha, onu da. Важно değil mi?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting the e-government recognition session. Please take your seats. Please take your seats. Thank you. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the special segment of the United Nations Public Services Forum 2025 to recognize countries with the most progress on digital government between 2022 and 2024 based on a few criteria and findings of the United Nations e-government survey. Ms. Arpina Kurikan, Government and Public Administration Officer at the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, will be joining me on the stage to present the criteria and announce the countries to be recognized.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Today we recognize countries that have achieved the most progress in digital government based on a few criteria. First, these are countries that have limited resources yet invested in digital government and achieved significant progress between 2022 and 2024. These countries do not belong to the high-income countries group. Rather, they are upper and lower middle-income countries. Second, these are countries that have an e-government development index value above the global average. And third, they are in the group of countries with very high values of online service index, or OSI as we call it. Further, from this short list, we chose countries that moved up from high to very high EGDI group, that moved by more than 15 positions in EGDI ranking in 2024 compared to 2022, and moved up from high to very high OSI group, with an increase of more than 15% compared to 2022. We distinguished 12 countries that matched this criteria, and today we will name these countries in alphabetical order to recognize their efforts and significant achievements in advancing e-government development. Once your country is named, please proceed to the stage to receive the recognition.
I would like to invite the Assistant Secretary General for Economic Development at the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, Mr. Navid Hanif, to do the honors of recognition. I invite the protocol to escort the Assistant Secretary General to the stage. I would also like to invite Mr. Vincenzo Aguaro, Chief of Digital Government Branch at UNDESA, to join the Assistant Secretary General on the stage.
Now, the first country is Albania. Albania maintained high EGDI ranking in the region, demonstrating steady progress in digital government. It had significant improvement in the online service index value with expansion of digital service offerings and demonstrated notable advances in telecommunications infrastructure supporting e-government delivery. I invite Ms. Nevilla Rapishti, Director of e-Albania Governmental Portal, to receive the certificate of recognition. Please join us for a round of applause for Albania. Armenia demonstrated consistent improvement in EGDI ranking, reflected advances in online service provision and infrastructure, enhanced human capital index indicating stronger digital literacy and education, and expanded e-government platforms and digital identity systems. I invite Ms. Arusyak Martirosyan, Digital Transformation Lead in Public Sector at the Informational Systems Agency of Armenia, to receive the certificate of recognition. Thank you. Jordan had rapid growth in EGDI and online service index values, excelled in implementation of comprehensive national digital strategies, and expanded e-services and citizen engagement platforms. I invite His Excellency Mr. Demiye Haddad, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, to receive the certificate of recognition. Mexico. Sorry, I think the pointer has gone too far. Mexico achieved high EGDI scores in the Americas, maintaining a leading position in the region, progressed in online service provision and digital inclusion initiatives, and improved telecommunications infrastructure and digital literacy indicators. I invite Ms. Lilian Herandi Mendoza Salgado, Director of the Undersecretary of Multilateral Affairs of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Mexico, to receive the certificate of recognition. Mongolia marked rise in EGDI ranking, reflecting robust growth in digital government, significantly expanded the online service provision in Mongolia, and steadily gained improvements in human capital and infrastructure indices. I invite Mr. Amgalan Battulga, Advisor to the Ministry of Digital Development, Innovation and Communications of Mongolia to receive the certificate of recognition. Philippines, improved EGDI ranking with notable progress in online service provision and digital infrastructure, expanded the efforts for digital inclusion and enhanced government citizen engagement through online tools and platforms. I invite Undersecretary for E-Government, Mr. David Almirol Jr. of Philippines to receive the certificate of recognition. South Africa, sustained progress in e-government development index and online service delivery, increased investment in digital infrastructure and connectivity, and focused on digital inclusion and capacity building initiatives. I invite Mr. Derek Sonamzi, Assistant Director for Digital Service Delivery at the Ministry of Communications and Digital Technologies of the Republic of South Africa, to receive a certificate of recognition. Turkey had impressive digital progress in Asia with advanced EGDI ranking, strong performance in online service provision and infrastructure development, and focused on AI and digital government innovation, cybersecurity, and support for small and medium enterprises through digitalization programs. I invite Mr. Yusuf Tanjan, Head of the Digital Transformation Office of the Presidency of the Republic of Turkey, to receive the certificate of recognition. Uzbekistan. Demonstrated significant strides in digital government development, marking country's entry into the very high EGDI group in 2024. Upped major investments in digital ICT infrastructure and e-government platforms, such as MyGov US, tax services, and so forth. Have strong institutional leadership in the Ministry of Digital Technologies and focused on digital skills, STEM, and digital literacy. I invite His Excellency Sherzod Shermanov, Minister of Digital Technologies of the Republic of Uzbekistan, to receive the certificate of recognition. I would like to also acknowledge 3 other countries that have been recognized for their achievements in e-government development but could not join us in person today at the forum: Colombia, Ecuador, and Ukraine.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed to a group photo. I will kindly ask the Assistant General Secretary to remain on the stage and invite all the country representatives to join us on the stage for a group photo.
gentlemen, I present to you the recipients of the Certificate for E-Government Recognitions. Congratulations.
That's totally fine. Yes. Thank you very much. And we now invite our delegates back to the audience. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mason. I want to thank our leaders very much and pass our congratulations to all the countries recognized for their outstanding progress in digital government. Now, it is time to reflect on what we've learned, shared, and discovered over the past 3 days. This is the Reporting Back session, where we highlight our insights, emerging themes, and memorable moments of the forum. Please join me in welcoming our rapporteur of the session, Ms. Robin Bennett, the advisor at Creative Bureaucracy Festival, who will guide us through this summary and close the loop on this collective journey of ours. Ms. Bennett, over to you. Mike is right here.
Thank you so much.
Yes, great. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. My name is Robin, and it's a true honor to be given this opportunity to reflect back on this forum and look forwards with you, especially in the moment that we're in. Because let's be honest about where we are. We're living through times when the institutions we've relied on, from national governments to multilateral organizations, are struggling to keep pace with the crises that we're facing. Political upheaval and conflicts, climate disasters that outstrip our response capacity, disinformation campaigns that threaten democratic processes, and AI reshaping society faster than governments can adapt. And public servants like you are caught in the middle, tasked with implementing solutions through systems that often feel inadequate to the tasks at hand. And amidst all this, we've given ourselves a deadline, 2030. The Sustainable Development Goals. And here's what we all know but rarely say out loud in rooms like this. We're likely not going to hit them all, at least not on time. But that doesn't mean this work is meaningless. Quite the opposite. It means we need to get more honest about what transformation requires of us and what role each of us can play in making it happen. We often end up frozen by these massive problems. And what we need to do is break them down into practical things we can do to melt the ice. That's what we've dived into the past few days. Different stories of what transformation looks like in practice. We've brought together over 800 people from all regions through 2 ministerial roundtables, 2 plenaries, 8 workshops, a recognition of e-government excellence, an opening, and now a closing. We also saw the launch of the Samarkand Ministerial Declaration on Advancing Digital Transformation, Innovation, and Robust Data Governance in the Public Sector, a commitment that extends far beyond these walls, and in particular shines a light on the importance of advocating for more South-South cooperation. I'll now highlight a few key threads that we've explored across 4 critical areas. So the first is already on the screen, the topic on everyone's lips at the moment, AI. It promises to revolutionize how governments serve citizens, and yet we're caught between breathtaking potential and the stubborn realities of implementation. What we're seeing is deeply uneven adoption across countries and sectors. Most OECD countries are experimenting with AI, yet the majority of efforts remain at the pilot stage without scaling. AI is primarily used in service delivery and analysis, with limited uptake in policymaking and complex applications. But we have seen success stories emerging that show us what's possible. We saw from Uzbekistan and the UAE progress in specific areas such as justice system automation and e-services. We saw how Uzbekistan's goal to train 1 million people in digital literacy shows serious commitment to building human capacity alongside technological advancement. These examples prove that target implementation can work when there's strategic commitment. The foundational gaps remain significant barriers to scaling. Data literacy gaps, legacy systems, and risk aversion are stalling progress. Countries are using different approaches, where some favor heavy regulation and others prefer guidelines and playbooks. But what's clear is that building the right foundations requires national AI strategies, regulatory sandboxes, and safe spaces, psychologically safe spaces, for innovation. What matters for governance and trust is transparency, stakeholder engagement, and ensuring the public understands how AI is used and why. Tools like Canada's algorithmic impact assessment exemplify best practice. Building trust isn't about perfect technology. It's about responsible implementation that brings people along. A second area explored was how public sector innovation must be purpose-driven, people-centered, and anchored in trust, collaboration, and adaptable systems. The most meaningful outcomes happen when innovation addresses real public needs and includes all voices, especially those marginalized. As Luana Faria beautifully stated yesterday, innovation is not magic. We need to use it like a verb, not a noun. Too much of what we call innovation never touches the lives it's meant to transform. The key to empowered civil servants who have the tools, training, and authority to lead change from within is also crucial. When equipped properly, they become co-creators of solutions and leaders of reform, fostering cultures of experimentation and continuous improvement. Strong institutional enablers can make the difference between pilots and scale. Legal frameworks, open data, and feedback mechanisms that foster scalability and sustainability. We need structures that support innovation while maintaining radical accountability. And cross-sector collaboration shows us what's possible when done right. We saw from Azerbaijan how their 4P model, public, private, people, partnerships, demonstrates that integrated services are stronger when co-designed across government, private sector, and citizens. But here's also the sobering reality. OPSI shared yesterday that only 29% of countries have dedicated public sector innovation frameworks. So how do we change that? Thank you. A third key area explored was how digital transformation depends on building the capacity of civil servants and institutions, not just deploying technologies. We heard different approaches from talented public servants who are masterfully architecting how and where to anchor innovation units and strategies to optimize strategic commitment and the likelihood of delivering reform. Civil service readiness depends on training programs and digital literacy. We saw how Mali is training civil servants and centralizing digital procedures to reduce fragmentation, how Georgia has digitized the public registry, allowing citizens worldwide to update records securely through one-stop digital services. Building AI competencies means going beyond technical skills. Public servants need to understand the ethical, regulatory, and operational implications of AI. This isn't just about learning new tools, It's about building wisdom around their use and understanding how technology serves public purpose. And finally, what drives institutional resilience is centralizing digital platforms, improving personnel management, and investing in systems for long-term gains. We saw from Georgia how they emphasize that policy alone is insufficient without execution and skilled human capital. When the next crisis hits, technology won't save you, people will. And the fourth, and in my view, most important area explored was how lasting innovation requires cultural change, adaptive leadership, and a long-term vision that encourages learning, experimentation, and inclusion. The mindset shift we need recognizes that innovation is not optional, it's a necessity. Leaders must embrace uncertainty, humility, and foster a culture of safe experimentation. This requires shifting mental models through reflection, storytelling, and daily reinforcement of core values. Strategic foresight and flexibility can help institutions anticipate change and adapt strategies in real time, supported by legal and regulatory flexibility. When applied with systems thinking and imagination, they help public institutions break silos and align planning with long-term public value. This is practical, not abstract. It's about designing for the front line and not the file room. Trust-based leadership requires transparency, responsiveness, and communication on how and why digital tools are used. Empathy and inclusion unlock innovation. We need to ask and listen, not just assume, and see citizens as knowledge holders, not just service recipients. And finally, shared ownership through co-creating solutions with public servants, citizens, and partners ensures more grounded, resilient, and widely accepted innovations. This means bringing communities into the design process from the beginning, not just consulting them after decisions have been made. In this room, you all are, as the UN Secretary General said on Monday, the unsung architects of a better future. The question is whether our institutions can evolve fast enough to meet the moment. Let me now begin where I started, but go a little deeper. We're not going to hit the SDGs by 2030, at least not all of them. And that's not a failure of will or vision, it's the reality of working in a world where political cycles are short, resources are scarce, and crises don't wait for our 5-year plans. But here's what I've learned from public servants all around the world. The gap between promise and delivery isn't where hope dies, it's where creativity is born. National and global policies are only as effective as their implementation on the ground. And that means localities, local governments, aren't the edges of systems change, they're where systems succeed or fail, where policy meets the pavement, where a budget line becomes a bus route, or doesn't, and where the promise of housing becomes bricks and mortar or gets lost in permitting delays. You're not just implementing someone else's vision. You're the inventors of what's actually possible. And this work also takes a toll. When you're working on climate adaptation, you're holding the grief of a planet in crisis. When you're designing refugee services, you're carrying the weight of human displacement. When you're building systems for the next generation, you're processing the trauma of everything that's been broken. We need to create space for this grief and trauma, not to wallow in it, but to process it collectively, to acknowledge that hope without honesty is just denial, and that healing happens in community, not in isolation. This is part of why we need to carve out space for creativity and collective imagination, not as a luxury, as a necessity. Because when the old playbooks don't work, creativity isn't optional, it's how institutions survive and continue to serve. It's easy to lose your sense of agency in these big bureaucracies, to feel that you're just a small cog in a massive machine, and to forget that every system is made up of individual choices by individual people. But you have more power than you think. We have so many zero-cost issues that we can invest energy and political effort in. Small changes that could unlock enormous value. Practical steps that thaw the freeze we feel when confronted with these massive challenges. But we need to reflect on who has power and how it can be transferred to the next generation. And real power, not just mentorship or advice, decision-making authority, budget control, strategic direction. The generation that will live longest with our choices deserves to shape them. And we need to empower South-South collaboration that bypasses traditional power structures that are no longer working and creates new pathways for shared learning and collaboration. So let me ask each of you directly, what are you going to do differently when you go home after this? Not someday, not when conditions are perfect, later this week. As Elizabeth Nyamayaro shared on Monday, being a good leader isn't about being in front, it's about removing obstacles for others. Your work matters. And not because you'll solve everything, but because you're creating the conditions for solutions we can't yet see. And you're clearing the path for those who will. Before you leave this room, I'd like to invite you to make 3 commitments. The first, find one person here who lit something up in you. Exchange contact information, commit to staying connected and to holding each other accountable. The solutions you need might be sitting just 3 seats away from you, from someone halfway around the world who's facing a similar challenge just in a different context. Number 2, commit to doing one thing differently when you get back home. One small experiment, one brave conversation, one system you'll start to change. And third, commit to shifting real power to someone younger than you. Not just mentoring, actual decision-making authority. A seat at the table where budgets get set, a voice where strategy gets decided. Over these past few days, Derek Alton and I have asked some of you, why do you love the public service? Your answers reminded me that public service isn't just a job, it's a commitment. It's a choice to stay in the arena when so many others have left, to tend the systems that make life possible for millions of people you will never meet. So let me close this session, not with more words from me, but with reflections from some of you. Your voices, your wisdom, your hope.
What I love most about public service is listening to citizens and doing something in the service to shift things and meet their needs.
Because I love serving people in my community.
The public service is a huge family where each one of us has to do his best to maximum of his ability to render service effective and efficient in order to have a happy population.
I believe public service is for those who have the passion and the calling to make positive impact on the society.
I love public service because I think it's joyful to serve the people and to make differences in people's lives and touch real lives with the work you do.
Ability to make changes in the life of people at a big scale. And the only way it's possible is to go within public sector, within public service, and innovate from within.
I love solving problems that really matter to people.
Public service is the backbone of the government work. People in the government work day and night to serve the public, and the well-being of people is the most important thing that we work for.
I love the fact that it's a labor of love, where someone can forego personal gain and actually subject themselves to serving the public in humility.
I love the public service because that's where real change happens.
Well, I think what I love most about public service is that everyone should be a public servant, and it is such an honorable job to do.
And before the forum, I was like thinking on a smaller personal scale, but being around such big people who inspire us to think about the problems of others is literally insane for me. Yeah.
What I love about being a public servant is that it connects people all around the world and it brings people together. By being a public servant, you can make people happy, and this can also make you happy as well.
Okay, I would like to say about when Derek said it is not about people, it is about person. I love it. I think public service is included like everything: safety, healthcare, education, people's comfortability. So I just love it. Everything about public. So she means it's not about the person, but about the people, right? People. Yeah. Thank you.
Great ending, great motivation, great spirit. This was Ms. Robin Bennett with her wonderful summary of the forum. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the final chapter of our remarkable gathering. Over the past 3 days, we have heard bold ideas, practical solutions, and inspiring stories from all over the world. It is now time to close the forum and look forward. To begin the closing session, it is my honor to invite to the stage Mr. Naveed Hanif, the Assistant Secretary General for Economic Development at the United Nations Department for Economic and Social Development. Ms. Hanif, please share your thoughts.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I think Ms. Robin Bennett has presented comprehensive summary. Before I come to my concluding remarks and reinforce some of the messages, I want to make a very quick point that I just learned through this presentation of the report. Ms. Bennett mentioned the challenges that multilateralism is facing. The trust institutions are not being able to restore people's growing skepticism. But I also heard from this young lady, it is an honor to be a public servant. And it's a bigger honor to be an international civil servant. So I just want to share with you my unshakable faith that the principles and purposes of the United Nations are timeless. It's an 80-year-old organization. Even if it were 800 years old, you will still need the power to convene, bring humanity together, find solutions, solve problems, mediate, and infuse a spirit of optimism. So these timeless functions gives me reassurance every day, despite the setbacks. Humanity will get out of this turbulent time and starts its journey towards peace, prosperity, and development for all. And as public servants, it's our duty to maintain this unshakable faith in the goodness of humanity and the strength of the institutions that you run nationally and globally. Minister Shermatov, Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, as we bring the 2025 UN Public Service Forum to a close, I want to express my sincere appreciation to all of you for your ideas, your dedication, and your unwavering commitment to public service. One of the best public service days that I celebrated was on Monday in Samarkand. Thanks to all of you. This forum has reminded us of something powerful. The public sector is not just responding to change, it is leading it. With vision, innovation, and determination, public servants stand around the world and shape a future defined by progress, inclusion, and possibility. And as the countdown to 2030 accelerates, so too must our efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Let me leave you with 3 messages that I hope will travel with you from this forum into your work and into the future. First, I might sound repetitive, but I want to reinforce these messages. Digital and AI should be for inclusion. Technology is not neutral. It either includes or excludes. The choice is ours. We must harness the power of digital tools to make life easier, not harder, for everyone. We heard inspiring examples of integrated digital portals simplifying access to services. We saw how AI can bridge language and accessibility gaps, bringing more people into the fold and not leaving them behind. But inclusion requires trust, and trust comes from transparency. Let people know how AI works. Let them know what data it uses. Let them know they matter. Above all, design systems to include. As one speaker put it, don't build a system to detect fraud. Build it to detect people who have been left out. That is what inclusion looks like in the age of AI. Second, innovation needs long-term, whole-of-government thinking. Innovation without strategy is noise. Innovation with strategy is impact. We have heard clearly, success comes from clear national visions that cut across ministries and mandates. These visions provide the anchor for legal frameworks, for digital products, and for innovation ecosystems. But at their core, they force us to ask 2 simple questions. Who are we here to serve? And where will make the greatest difference? That we ask ourselves every day before we start our work. Third, mindsets must change. The solutions we need may already exist somewhere. Often, they are being worked on by people inside your own systems. Some of the best innovation is already happening, but in silence. Find it, fund it, connect it. Most importantly, connect people to government so their work doesn't remain a project, but becomes a policy, a program, or a platform. This is agile, flexible government in action. It's not just about training, it's about engagement with users, with civil servants, with real people. Above all, listen. The best ideas come from users and government employees, not from the top. Let me emphasize, when I say listen, this is not just a sound bite. It is a principle for modern governance, and all of you would like to be on the cutting edge. Ladies and gentlemen, let me close by extending my sincere thanks to the ministers who joined our ministerial roundtables, to the many speakers and moderators who brought expertise and clarity to our dialogue, and above all, to our gracious hosts. A special thanks to you, Minister Sharmatov, and the public servants of the Republic of Uzbekistan. Your professionalism, hospitality, and dedication have made this forum a true success. Last but not the least, the UNDESA team members for their outstanding work in public sector policy and e-government, and in organizing this forum. Both teams deserve a round of applause from all of you. Now, today I have only one ask of you, just one request. Carry this energy with you. Carry the spirit of innovation with you. And above all, carry the people with you. Don't leave them here. Connect with them. Build communities. Make a difference. And we hope the UN will infuse that spirit once you're out of this room. The city of Samarkand demands that you imbue your functions with that spirit of questioning the frontiers of knowledge, spirit of open mind, and spirit of collaboration. Let me now extend my warm welcome to His Excellency, Mr. Pata Salia, Minister of Justice of Georgia, for an exciting announcement about the 2026 UN Public Service Forum. It has been an honor to be with you for the last 3 days, and I look forward to seeing you in other places all around the world. Thank you so much.
Mr. Hanif, thank you very much for your thoughtful remarks and for your leadership throughout this forum. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to turn our attention to the future. It is my honor to have His Excellency, Mr. Pata Salia, the Minister of Justice of Georgia, who will deliver a special announcement, the host country for the 2026 United Nations Public Service Forum. Minister Salia, please do the honors.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to address this esteemed gathering at this closing session of 2025 United Nations Public Service Forum in this magnificent city of Samarkand, a place with a great history where culture and dialogue have flourished for centuries. Over the last 3 days, we have had the opportunity to engage in deep and thoughtful discussions on the future of public service in an increasingly complex world. We have shared innovations, challenges, and success, grounded in a shared commitment in inclusive governance, digital transformation, and building trust between states and their citizens. This forum hasn't only reaffirmed the indispensable role of public institutions in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, but has also inspired all of us to return home with renewed determination to strengthen transparency, accountability, and equity in our public service systems. As we reflect on the insights gained here in Samarkand, it is also time to look ahead. I'm deeply honored to announce that United Nations has selected Georgia as the host country for the United Nations Public Service Forum 2026, which will take place in our capital city, Tbilisi, the city where tradition meets modernity and the commitment to the public sector excellence runs deep. On behalf of the Georgian government, I extend a warm invitation to each of you to join us in Tbilisi in 2026. We will offer you a unique platform for thought leaders, practitioners, and policymakers from around the globe to shape the future of the public service together. We look forward to welcoming you with Georgian hospitality, engaging you with the forward-looking dialogue, and working with you to deepen the impact of public service worldwide. Let me express our sincere gratitude to the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, the government of Uzbekistan, and the wonderful people of Samarkand for organizing and hosting this memorable forum. Together, let us continue to serve our citizens with integrity, creativity, and unwavering dedication. With these words, let me leave you with a short video about my country and public services of Georgia. Thank you very much.
Welcome to a country of harmonious contrasts, where the energy of modern life blends seamlessly with the warmth of Georgian hospitality. A nation built on centuries of wisdom, now innovating at the pace of the future. From the sun-drenched vineyards to the snowy mountains, our diverse landscapes mirror the richness of our spirit. Here, ancient traditions are celebrated in every dance, every flavor, every shared moment. This is Georgia, a land of open doors and open hearts. Witness a nation on the move. Public service crosses valleys and peaks, reaching every village and every family, not as a duty, but as a promise. We celebrate life in all forms, from the quiet moments to the grandest celebrations. A crossroads of cultures, where ancient faiths stand alongside modern aspirations. In 2026, Tbilisi will bring the world together to experience Georgia's bold and innovative vision and public service that empowers us all. This is Georgia. Proud host of the United Nations Public Service Forum.
Minister Salia, thank you very much for this exciting announcement. We really look forward to the next chapter of the United Nations Public Service Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, to officially close the forum, it is my pleasure to invite to this stage His Excellency Mr. Sherzod Shermatov, the Minister of Digital Technologies of the Republic of Uzbekistan.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all participants of the United Nations Public Service Forum 2025 for 3 enriching, inspiring, and truly historic days. It's a great honor for us to host this prestigious international forum for the first time in Central Asia, in a city where for millennia ideas, cultures, and civilizations have converged. Today, Samarkand stands as a focal point for the ideas of the future: digital, sustainable, and inclusive public governance. Over the past few days, many valuable ideas have been shared. Yet what unites us all is a common goal: a shared commitment to making public service more accessible, transparent, and efficient. We discussed the challenges of digital transformation, equal access to public services, and the role of innovations, artificial intelligence, and big data. Participating countries delivered vibrant presentations, engaged in rich exchanges of experience, and contributed to strategic, future-oriented discussions. And most importantly, we came together to adopt the Samarkand Ministerial Declaration, which will contribute to shaping our collective agenda in the years to come. Let me highlight several key outcomes of the forum. First, we reaffirmed our shared determination to accelerate progress towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Just 5 years remain until 2030, and the effectiveness of public service will be pivotal in this race against time. Second, we acknowledge that digital transformation should be viewed not as a goal, but as a powerful instrument for building trust, promoting inclusivity, and advancing sustainable development. The declaration clearly emphasized key priorities: accessibility, ethics, cybersecurity, and the involvement of youth, women, and vulnerable groups. Third, we reached consensus on taking concrete actions to enhance international cooperation. We agreed to intensify North-South, South-South, and triangular partnerships. Uzbekistan reaffirms its willingness to contribute by sharing its innovations and practices in GovTech, open digital platforms, digital education, and capacity building for the public sector. Fourth, we heard the voice of innovation. This forum provided a space for meaningful exchange, not only among governments, but also with civil society, academia, and startups, and the private sector. The voices of young leaders and digital innovators were especially inspiring, signaling that our collective digital future is in capable hands. Dear colleagues, allow me to express my heartfelt thanks to everyone who made this forum possible. First, I extend sincere gratitude to the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, and especially to His Excellency Mr. Navid Hanif, for their trust, partnership, and invaluable contribution to organizing this forum. The Agency for the Development of the Civil Service and the Agency for Strategic Reforms of Uzbekistan for the excellent organization, exceptional team, and substantive program. All international and national speakers, moderators, coordinators, and translators for your professionalism and enthusiasm. Special thanks to all of you, dear volunteers and participants. Over 1,000 delegates from dozens of countries around the world, ministers, public servants, experts, and practitioners. You have proven that the forum is not only about politics, but also about practice. Not only about ideas, but also about actions. And dear Mr. Patasalia, on behalf of our entire team, please allow me sincerely to congratulate you and Georgia on accepting the baton to host the next United Nations Public Service Forum in 2026. We are confident that the Georgian team will organize the forum at the highest level. You can always count on our support as well as and the best practice from Samarkand. Dear friends, when we talk about the future of public service, we are not just talking about digitalization. We are talking about the future of statehood, about trust that cannot be encoded but can be strengthened, about service that requires not only technology but also heart. Last but not least, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let the Samarkand Declaration become not just a document for us, but a plan of action. Let this forum become the starting point for new decisions, new partnerships, new initiatives. As we bring this remarkable forum to a close, we remain mindful that despite our best efforts, there may have been moments that did not fully meet your expectations. We are grateful for your patience, generosity, and spirit, and commitment to the shared purpose that brought us together. Your insights and observations will be invaluable as as we continue to learn and improve. I wholeheartedly wish you a safe journey home, new professional achievements, inspiration, and of course meetings at new forums in new countries with new ideas. And please note that Uzbekistan is not limited to Samarkand only. There are many interesting places to be. So if you have time, please visit other interesting places like Bukhara, Khiva, and others. And we would be happy to see you all in the future. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Shehrazad Khatamich, thank you very much for the honor of your leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings the 2025 United Nations Public Service Forum to an official close. It's been an honor to share this space with you all, leaders, innovators, and public service champions from across the world. Thank you and goodbye.
I think so, yeah.